teacher. Hello, teacher.
I'm very sorry. I was in the other Zoom link.
It's
I'm so
no
sorry
problem.
for that. I entered the Zoom link for the makeup class last time. So I was actually wondering, where are my students? I'm so sorry for that. So, welcome back to our class. How's everyone? How is your week? Okay, let's start with Miss Tram. How are you?
Uh, my week for so it's not to any special happen.
Oh, nothing special happened. Well, aside from, of course, work, is there any hobbies that you have done this week?
Yes,
And what is that hobby, Miss Tram?
hobby.
Mm-hmm.
My hobby.
Okay, what hobby did you do this week?
Ah, okay. Uh, I always listen to my favorite podcast. It's
Mm.
related to economic, uh, psychology.
Mm-hmm.
I partic- particularly like listening to marketing podcast.
Ah, I see. So you have a hobby of listening to marketing podcasts. Okay, you know what? I
Yeah.
also developed that kind of hobby, but I listen more into self inspirational podcasts. Okay, so
Uh,
I tend to listen to those podcasts, especially when I am doing some paperworks. So while I am
yeah.
doing some paperworks, I also listen. It's multitasking, but well, I don't know. It works for me.
I also always listening my favorite podcast while I do chores.
When you do chores. Well, it's also
Like
a
that.
good strategy to, do something, learn something new while we are doing something else, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Miss Tram. How about you, Miss Rose? How was your week?
I have the weekend so.
Mm, okay.
In the morning, I get up late and then I have breakfast with my family. And I try on clothes for next vacation on the next day.
Oh, okay. I see you will be having vacation. Oh, I
Yes.
think that there will be a holiday, right? Is there an upcoming holiday in your country?
Uh, in my country, the vacation. I have the vacation with my company.
Ah,
I
I see.
travel to uh, other way.
And how many days did you stay there?
Sometime maybe 2 or 3 days.
2 to 3 days. Wow, that's so fun. You know what? Here in the Philippines, since I am working in the education field, we rarely have that kind of company outing. And if we do, it's just for a limited number of people. So if you get invited to an outing, then that's good. But if you're not invited, then you have to come up with your own family vacation. Because well, it's a different setup if you are in the education field. But yeah, it's fun to have vacations for sometimes. Do you have any plans for vacation this summer break?
Uh, on the summer, I have a vacation to the beach. Go to the beach with my family.
Ooh.
Yeah. On this year, I have a vacation, early vacation with my company to a mountain.
To a
Mountain.
mountain.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I train to Chinese
Oh.
near Vietnam.
Wow. Wow. You know what? I love traveling. That's why I really get excited when it comes to travel stories and recommendation. Maybe you could give me some travel recommendation in Vietnam, Miss Rose. You know what? My friends are actually there. They travel to I think they are in Da Nang right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I think if you travel to Vietnam, you also go to Da Nang, Da Nang
Oh,
city.
so Da Nang City.
Yeah, because I think Da Nang city have cheaper than other city in
Ah,
Vietnam, and Da Nang have a lot of beauty place
beautiful
to
places.
travel. Yeah, and Da Nang have a special bridge, golden bridge
Ah,
in
okay, I
Bana
see.
Hill.
Bana Hill. Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, because what, well, I wasn't able to accompany my friends who traveled to Vietnam this week because I have a lot of classes and I can't afford to actually miss one. So maybe some other time this year, okay, we are considering to visit Vietnam. And that's my motivation to work harder so I can travel. How about you? What's your motivation to work? Okay, let's have Miss Tram. Okay, what keeps you
Motivation
motivated to
work.
work? Mm-hmm.
What's
I
motivation? What mean
think
motivation?
uh, there are a lot of motivation for my work. Uh, but the first, the always is money.
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 Okay, correct. Of course,
Uh,
practically speaking, we want it, right?
yeah.
Okay, is there anything that you wanna reward yourself, Miss Tram, after your hard work?
I like going out with my family
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Have it there.
for trip.
For a trip.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's the best thing, right? Okay, that we wanna do to reward ourselves after all the hard work that we are pushing or pouring through our work. We wanna reward ourselves. Okay, I heard Miss Rose asking about the word motivation. Miss Rose, we started the discussion about motivation last time. So when we say motivation, it is your driving force to continue working. Okay. So when we say motivation, it is something that inspires you. It is something that pushes you, okay, to work hard, to aim for, higher pay, higher position in your work. Okay. So
Okay.
I think for both of us, for Miss Tram and I, money is one of the greatest motivation. Practically speaking. Right? How about you, Miss Rose? What motivates you to work?
I think that money is a big motivation with everybody.
Correct.
Uh, we all need money to live, to eat, and do everything.
Correct, right? Well, because other people would say that money is not the source of happiness. But, well, that might be true. That can also be true. But, well, looking at what we are experiencing right now, you cannot be happy if you don't have money, right? You can't provide for your family. Okay, you can't provide for the education of your children. You can't provide for your own health and security if you don't have it. It may not be a source, the only source of happiness, but it can bring you to that feeling. Okay. Now, Miss Rose, is there something that you want to reward yourself after all your hard work?
Uh, After doing hard work, I want to shopping.
To do shopping.
Yeah, I want to shopping because I'm feel stressed and I want to shopping to receive stress,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Correct.
want to waste of money to have travel anywhere and refresh myself.
Mm-hmm. Correct. That's it. Right. So one way to reward ourselves, is to go travel, go shopping, and buy something that, we want to see as a product of our hard work. Right. And there's nothing wrong with rewarding yourself, especially after, all the hard work that you are pouring into your work. Okay, the rewards can only be bad if it's too much. Let's say you are not doing anything, but you are rewarding yourself. Okay, that's splurging. Okay, we call it splurging. Okay, and let me type it again. Okay, so when you splurge yourself with a lot of things and you are not doing anything, that's the problem. Okay, it's okay if you are, a son or a daughter of a multi-millionaire person, but if not, then we give rewards to ourselves as part of, the result of all the hard work that we have done. And those rewards can actually be part of our motivation. Okay. Now let's continue with our unit number 2. So last time we have already started with, the different examples of phrases and words related to motivation. And we talked about the different examples of the different material benefits and non material benefits that could help us um, be motivated at work. So, of course, money is just one. But looking at the totality of the work, okay, it's not just about money because we also have what we call non-material benefits. Okay. Now, which of these benefits, okay, do you want to feel and receive in your company? Okay, let's start off with material benefits. Okay, what material benefits do you receive in your company? Okay, let's have Miss Tram.
Yes. Um, with material benefit, uh, I choose commission
So there is commission.
and private medical insurance.
Okay, so you also have private medical insurance.
Yeah.
Okay, how about the non-material benefits, Miss Tram? Okay, which
For the non-material benefit, I choose appreciation
mhm. Okay, so you have
and
appreciation.
yes, feel value.
Okay, you also feel valued in the company. All right. So thank you, Miss Tram, for your answer. Now, for Miss Rose, when we say material benefits, Miss Rose, these are the different benefits that you get from the company. So normally, this is in a form of money, but other companies may give medical insurance like the health card. They also give company car. So these are examples of what we call material benefits. And then when we say material benefits, these are the non-tangible things that we receive from our company. And normally they are there to help us feel good about our work. Okay. Now, which of these benefits or which material benefits do you get or receive from your company, Miss Rose?
I think when I get material benefits on my company, I think it's positive feedback.
So you receive positive feedback.
Yeah, personal development.
Okay.
And private medical insurance.
So you have medical insurance too.
Fuel value.
Okay.
I think so.
Is that so? Okay. So when you say feel valued, positive feedback, and well, personal development can be material benefit. So these two are the non-material benefit. So you feel these, okay, in your company, especially whenever we receive positive feedback, we feel the satisfaction, and you feel sense of achievement, and therefore you feel valued in the company. Okay. Now, personal development and private medical insurance would fall under material benefits. Okay, because well, personal development, these is actually about seminars, trainings that the company may offer. Okay, and then private medical insurance, this is the HMO, okay, or the health and medical, okay, benefits that you get from the company. Okay. Now let's continue and move on to the next part. Okay. Now let's have this activity. Okay, I think Miss Tram already answered this. Do you remember this activity, Miss Tram? Or not yet? Have we finished this last time?
Setting up your design.
Okay, let's
Oh,
say
that's it. I think we finished it.
we finished this. All right. So let's take a look at the set of questions, and let's just review some of the points here. So imagine that you are setting up your own company, you are building your own company. Now, what type of company would you want to have? Do you want a service company or a product oriented company? Okay. And how many employees will you need? Okay, do you need 100 employees or just 10? Okay, and then I want you to think through about what benefits, rewards, and incentives will you offer to your employees. Okay, and then what effects will these have for both employee and the company? And how will you make sure your employees receive some non-material benefits? Okay, so I want you to think through of your answer. So let's say you are building a business. Okay, you are a startup. Okay, what type of company would you want to venture in? Okay, who wants to go first?
I
Go ahead, Miss
I
Tram.
can go first.
Okay.
If I had chance to setting up my own company, I will to provide service to customer
Okay, so
because
service.
yes, and it will be a tourism uh, tourism ecosystem
Tourism. Okay. Why tourism, Miss Tram?
because I want to develop tourism in my because I know that my countries in my country the government is uh, um, investing in tourism industrial to attract foreign tourism to develop our country.
Yes,
It
yes.
mean it can contribute to country's budget.
Correct. Correct.
And when I set up a tourism ecosystem, I will send a lot of opportunity from policy and the government of the government.
Mhm. Correct. Now, if you will set up that company, Miss Tram, how many employees do you think you will need?
I think tourism ecosystem it will include the gardener, um, a, attend a service and I think it's maybe I think 10% will
10.
end up. Yes.
Okay.
Two is for gardener.
Mm-hmm.
Two is for chef and and so phần còn lại là gì nhỉ? Remain. And 6% will be for service customer
For customer service. Okay.
customer
And if
service.
you since you will have 10 people, what benefits, rewards, or incentives will you offer to your employees?
I think benefit and reward and intensive will dependent on my my company profit, and I
Mm-hmm.
will try to make balance between employee and employer.
Okay, so you'll balance everything out, and the benefits would depend on your profit. Okay.
Yes, it
And
will increase their motivation because their value can contribute their income.
mm-hmm. Correct. So if all the 10 people will work together, of course, it will increase the profit of the company. Therefore, they will also benefit from it, right?
Yes.
And what effect? Oh, you already answered number three. And let's have number four, Miss Tram. How will you make sure your employees receive some of the non-material benefits?
How
How
much?
how would you recognize their effort?
Oh, I think I will because one person have their role. It mean it mean they have to achieve their KPI
Mm-hmm.
in their work. So
Mm-hmm.
I will lie in their achievement in their KPI to evaluate them and will give them the non-material.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you will do evaluation before you recognize the effort of your employees. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Tram, for your sharing about the setting up of your own company. Now, when it comes to tourism, okay, it's actually a good way to start a business, especially if you yourself is a travel enthusiast, because you will know different destination, and of course you will have discounts, okay, and you can pair
Mhm.
up with different companies and tourism business as well. Okay, how about you, Miss Rose? Oh, you're on mute, Miss Rose. There's no microphone. No microphone, Miss Rose.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
there.
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
In my opinion, I decide on the company with the product oriented.
Oh, product. Okay. What product would
Yeah.
you want to have in your business?
Yeah. I think with a new company, every company needs a good environment
Mhm.
for employee and safe environment for employee. Special on products factory.
Correct. And
Yeah.
what kind of product would you want to have in your business? Is it
Maybe
food? Is it cosmetics?
um, technology.
Ah, tech. Okay. All right. How many employees do you think you will need in your tech company?
I think that's about two, 200, 200
200.
employee. Yeah.
Yeah, you need a lot, especially if it's a manufacturing company, right?
Yeah.
So you also need a big capital for this one, Miss Rose.
Yeah.
Because tech company is expensive. You have to hire engineers, right?
Yeah.
Programmers. Now, what benefits, rewards, or incentives will you offer?
I think that's benefits I come to my company is the good good tự nhiên lương là gì đã salary good
Okay, good
salary
salary.
and good salary and good remuneration regime.
Remuneration.
Yes, we have a lot of bonus in at the end of the year, every 2 3 month 3 month.
Mm-hmm. I see. And what do you think will be its effect, okay, to both the employee and the company if you will offer all those good benefits?
Which I think is a good salary and have we have a lot of bonus on every time.
Mhm.
It is it is Chris Chris động lực là gì nhỉ? Remuneration
Mhm.
Motivation.
for employee.
Motivation.
Yeah. Motivation for employee to working.
Mhm. Okay, to work hard, right?
Yeah, to
Especially
work
if you
hard.
have if you have bonuses, good salary, and all the good remuneration benefits, okay, they will definitely become motivated to work harder. And how will you make sure, Miss Rose, that your employees receive some of the non-material benefits?
You have a good remuneration regime
Mm-hmm.
and they can have knowledge experience on my
Mm-hmm.
company
Mm-hmm.
because uh, I I do education for the employee in my company.
So you will also offer personal development, okay, like
Yeah,
training, seminars, workshops.
yeah, private development for employee
Mm-hmm.
and
Correct.
I create a good environment and safe environment for employee uh, decrease decrease tai nạn là gì nhỉ?
Accident.
Accident on working.
Okay. So you'll make sure that the environment is really good for a more efficient and safe production in your company. Well, in venturing into technology products is actually a good business as well. Now that we have or that we are in a technology driven world, but this one requires a lot of capital. So you'll have more investment in your business, Miss Rose, especially if you are offering promising salary, good rewards, and incentives for your employees. Okay. And I
Yeah.
think that's the goal of most companies, right? To provide the best for the employees. Because if the company offers good benefits, competitive benefits, okay, to the employees, of course, the employees would also do their best, okay, to be in that company. Okay. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and ideas about this activity. So it shows how knowledgeable you are in your field of work, and of course, the kind of work culture, okay, that you want to have in your company. Okay, we will also be talking about work culture in some other parts of our lesson, but we'll focus first on the sharing about motivation at work. Okay, so thank you for your answer. Now let's move on to the second part. So aside from, of course, the internal motivation to work, sometimes we also need our colleagues, okay, as part of our motivation to work. And part of that is engaging in a meaningful conversation in order for you to establish good relationships among your colleagues. Now let's move on to our next topic, which is about conversation. Okay, now let's take a look at the first question first. Okay, when you meet someone for the first time, how do you encourage conversation? How do you start a conversation? What kind of topics normally motivate you to make conversation with other person in the company? Okay, let's say that's the first time that you will be meeting someone. Okay, how do you
Mm,
start a conversation, Miss
I
Tram?
think when I meet someone for the first time, I will do a small talk.
Hơi khó nghe.
Là nghe được không? I think I will do a small talk.
Mm-hmm.
Nghe được chưa?
Okay.
Like greeting and say some my say some my concern about the person I meet.
Okay, so you will share some concerns about the person.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Could you elaborate more, Miss Tram, about concern? Okay, because when we say concern, okay, it could be interpreted in a negative way. So concern would mean about problem or issue.
Oh, okay. Maybe I under wrong the word.
Mm-hmm.
I will uh, talk with some. I will find um the common hobby
Mm-hmm.
to encourage conversation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's better. Okay, so to begin a conversation with someone whom you meet for the first time, I think it's not a good way to begin a conversation with a concern. Okay,
Yeah.
because when we say concern, it can be interpreted in two ways. Number one, concern as in care. Okay, but most
Mm,
of the time when you talk about, I'll share some concerns about you. It's like you are going to talk about some problems, either
yeah.
at work or about the person. Okay, so if it's the first time, I think it's safer to talk about hobbies, okay, or common interest.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. How about you, Miss Rose? How do you encourage conversation for someone that you meet for the first time?
I think when I meet someone for the first time, I I think talk about outstanding topic
Mm-hmm.
or society topic
Mm-hmm.
to easy come up communication with the other people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And sometimes I uh, about family or your their work.
Mhm. Okay. So family and work. Okay. So this is actually a tricky question because, of course, it boils down to the kind of personality that you have, right? Sometimes, if you are meeting someone for the first time, there are moments that we don't initiate the conversation, right? We let the other people start the conversation to us. So there
Oh
are
yeah.
moments like that, but in some cases that we are forced, okay, to start the conversation, especially if we are going to talk to someone higher in position than us and we want to build connection, we have to think of some topics that would help us be engaged in that conversation. So I like the fact that you mentioned about for Miss Tram, it's common hobby because, well, everyone has a hobby. And if the person would have the same hobby as yours, then that is already a good way to build communication or to start the network. Okay, because you are on the same page, you have the same hobby. Now, social topic, well, it's 50-50, Miss Rose, because if it's your first time to meet the person, you don't know his or her standpoint on some social topics. Okay, whether he or she agrees or disagree. Now, what if you both have different ideas? So it would result to conflict rather than network. Okay. So it can be a good one, but you have to be careful because sometimes other people may have different point of views than yours. So you may end up arguing with each other. Family, well, it can be a good way to start a conversation if you feel like you are, of the same structure. For example, you are both mothers, or you are both working moms, or you are both in a situation where you can share about something in the family. Because family, as a topic for the first time, is a private thing. Okay, so sometimes people may not share about their family at first. Okay. So you may talk about work, like for example, talk about their position, how's their day. So you can begin it by asking how challenging the work is and then try to empathize. Okay, that's the term. You have to empathize if your topic is about work. Okay. So empathy may be a good way to, make the person feel that you belong in the same situation. And that way, you can automatically click when it comes to starting up, a new relationship at work. Okay. Because when you are meeting someone for the first time, the goal there is for you to build connection. And in order for you to build connection is to make sure that your first conversation may have good impression with a person. Okay. So we always go back to good impression if it's first time meeting someone. Okay. Now let's take a look at our featured article and let's learn more about what we call the art of small talk. So, what are the different arts of, having a small talk with someone? Okay. Now, let us take a look at the following. So, we have 8, and I'll just divide this to the two of you. Now, let's start with Miss Tram. Let's read numbers 1 to 4.
Introduce yourself and use a tagline. Hi, I'm Sue from Munich. This can get the conversation started at your colleague. Can ask a question about your hometown or your trip.
Okay, so let's talk about the first item or first tip here. So, introducing yourself first is very important. Okay? And you can use a tagline. So when we say tagline, you can have your name, the place where you come from, or the company that you are working with. Okay, so if you belong to the same company, then you can share your department. So, for example, I am Freya, I'm from the education department. If you belong to different department, okay, and that way you can start, asking about that tagline. Okay, so the conversation will start from there. Okay, so introduce yourself, say where you are from, and then you may also ask some follow-up questions about, okay, this information. Okay, how about number two, Miss Tram?
When your colleague introduces himself, herself, try to repeat his/her name when you reply, or use their name later in the conversation.
Okay, so sometimes the first meeting would be introduced to us by another colleague. So your colleague would say, "Hello, Tram. This is Rose from the manufacturing department." Okay, Tram, this is Rose. So you have to repeat, "Hello, Rose." So you have to make sure to listen carefully to the name. Now, if you are not sure of the name and you want to take note of it, you can ask politely to spell the name of the person. So, for example, can you spell your name for me, please, so I can take note of it? Okay. So that way, it would give a feeling that you are interested with the person. Okay, instead of just saying hi. Okay, so make sure to listen carefully and use their name later in conversation. Okay. How about number three, Miss Rose, Miss Tram?
Break the ice with a comment about a current news story or a remark about the event you are at, its location and the weather.
Okay. So this is now another tip. So when we say break the ice, what does it mean to break the ice? This is an idiomatic expression.
Yeah.
Okay, what does it mean to break
Ah,
the ice,
yes,
Miss Tram?
break the ice is mean a break so it mean you make a warm environment
Mm-hmm.
with everyone.
Correct. Correct. So make a warm environment or break the awkwardness. So you have to break the awkwardness of the situation by, asking something about the event, asking about, okay, how they traveled. Okay. So we have here some suggestion. Current news story. Again, my take on this is it's, a so-so topic because again, it can be controversial. So I highly advise that you just make a remark about the event, its location, and the weather. And since it is your first time meeting the person, you have to make sure to be careful in giving a remark because sometimes that person might be one of the organizers of the event. So if you would say, "Oh, I don't like this event. It's not organized," and then suddenly the person is the head of the organizing team, so it's not a good way to begin a conversation. So as much as possible, you start with stating something positive about the event. Okay. Like, for example, this location is very good, or the weather is fine for a seminar like this. Okay. And then that's the start. Okay. Again, make sure to begin with a positive remark first. Okay. And let's have number four, Miss Tram.
Avoid these topics of conversation, your health, your private life, gossip. Spec conversation topics are sports, books, theatre, movies, food, museums, and travel. Try and find a shared experience or something else you have in common.
Okay, so this is now where your art of communication would comes in. So you have to think of the topic that you think both of you will like. Okay. And there's no exact formula, no exact way on how you can, start a conversation that would hit the same topic right away. So you have to try and find a shared experience. Okay. So you have to ask questions and try to find your common interest. Okay. And mostly if you it depends. For example, if you are in a food gathering, then talk about food. Okay. If you are in the museum, then talk about history, talk about travels, okay, or simply talk about the things that you can see in the event. Okay. So you have to use your art, okay, of communication to find that shared experience. Okay. And let's have number 5, Miss Rose. Let's read number 5.
Keep the conversation flowing by not monopolizing it. Ask a question and really listen to your colleague's reply. Then respond with comment from your own personal experience and ask another question.
Okay, so this is something to do with doing follow-up questions. So you ask, you listen to the answer, you ask, and then let the other person ask questions as well. So you have to encourage smooth flow of communication by asking different questions. Okay, so if you feel like the person doesn't like, talking or doesn't like to answer questions, then that's the time that you will end the conversation. But if the person is really interested to get to know you, then you can ask for some follow up questions. Okay. How about number 6, Miss Rose?
Ask open questions which require more than a one-word answer. If your colleague asks a yes/no question, give some extra information.
Okay, so this one right here, okay, is a standard. Okay, whenever you are being asked with a yes no question, you have to give extra information. So, for example, someone would ask, do you like reading? So, if you will just answer it with yes, the conversation will stop there. So, you have to say, yes, I do. I love reading books. Then give all or some information about the things that you like reading. Okay? Because giving one word answer would end the conversation. It means that you are not interested to continue the conversation. How about number 7, Miss Rose?
You sound like and would like really to indicate that you are listening and interested. This will, this will motivate your colleague to tell you more.
Okay, so this is now the hack. So if someone is starting a conversation, you listen carefully, and then if you agree, then you can do some verbal fillers like "oh, really" or okay, things like that. And then number 8, Miss Rose.
Share information about yourself but keep it positive. People don't like colleagues who are negative or who complain a lot.
Okay, so this is now what I'm telling you earlier. If it's the first time you are meeting someone, as much as possible, keep everything positive. Okay, because well, we have to establish good impression that we are a person who is professional enough to talk about things and someone who wants growth, okay, in the company. So we don't like negativity in the first meeting. Okay. So as much as possible, you start the conversation in a positive way, giving positive remarks. Okay. So these are the 8, okay, art of small talk that you can also use and apply whenever you are talking to someone. Okay. Now let us listen to some examples. Okay, let's do our listening activity. Now we will listen to 4 conversations from the first evening of a cruise experience. Okay, and we will answer the following questions. So for conversation number 1, we will answer these questions. What does Harry say to start the conversation? And what phrases does he use to end the conversation? Okay, for conversation number 2, 3, and 4, I'll pause for every conversation. Okay, so let us start with the first one.
2.2 Conversation 1.
Hello. I saw you sitting on my table at dinner, but I didn't have a chance to speak to you. I'm Harry.
Hi, I'm Alessandro.
Who did you come with? Is this your first company event?
Yes.
Well, I'm sure you'll have a great weekend. Have you seen the programme?
No, not yet.
Oh, well, it looks very entertaining. I think there are some left at the information desk. Are you, here with colleagues?
No.
Well, you'll soon get to know people. So, would you like another drink?
No, I'm fine, thanks.
Well, it's been nice talking to you, Alessandro. You don't mind if I go and get myself a coffee? See you later.
Okay, so that's our conversation number 1. Okay, how does Harry or what does Harry say to start the conversation with Alessandro?
I think it's E.
Harry asked him about the Harry table, where Harry table.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Harry asked about seeing Alessandro sitting at the same table, right? And then he also asked about whether it's his first time, okay, going to a cruise ship and who is with him. Okay, so that's
Oh.
how he started the conversation. How did he end the conversation?
I think it is like you don't mind see which coffee.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So he actually ended the conversation by excusing himself to get a drink. Okay. Because if you have heard, okay, in that conversation, Alessandro seemed to be not so comfortable with the talk because he keeps on giving one word answer. Okay. And to end that kind of conversation, you may excuse yourself and go find some drinks or go get some food. Okay, so that's the strategy used by Harry. Now let's continue with conversation number 2. Okay, for conversation number 2, we'll answer this question. What does Paulo say to start the conversation, and how does Sonia respond? Okay, let's listen to conversation 2.
Conversation 2.
Hi, I don't think we've met. I'm Paolo from Napoli. I work for one of the company suppliers.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Sonia from France.
Nice to meet you.
So, I've heard that Naples is becoming very popular for foreign investors. Is that true?
Well, Sonia, it's interesting that you say that because...
Conversation
Okay, so that's conversation number 2. Now, what does Paulo say to start the conversation?
Paulo say hi. I don't think we will meet before.
Okay. So he mentioned that they haven't met before, so it's their first time meeting each other. Okay. So
Yeah.
aside from that, how did he start the conversation aside from the statement, I don't think we've met?
He said, "Nice to meet you."
Okay. So he
Uh,
also mentioned, okay, nice to meet
he
you.
introduced her. He introduced him name, his name, and talk to her. Nice to meet you.
Okay, correct. So, Paulo, in conversation number 2, started the conversation by introducing himself and the place where he came from. Okay, so he said that he is from a certain place. And then, how did Sonia respond to the statement of Paulo?
Nhung có nghe được không?
Did you get that? How did Sonia respond to it?
I can hear Sonia because she talk quite
Okay.
quickly.
So let's take a look
Quickly.
at this one. So Sonia responded this way. I'm Sonia from France. Okay. So since Paulo started the conversation by stating where he is from, Sonia responded by also sharing about the country where she's from. Okay, so she said, I'm Sonia from France. And then after that, she asked questions like Naples is becoming a popular country, and they started to talk about their country. So aside from, of course, country is also a good way to start a conversation. Okay. Now, let's take a look at conversation number 3. So, what two phrases show that the speakers are interested in what the other person has said? Let's find it out in conversation number 3.
Station 3.
Hi, I'm Sumitra, based in the UK.
Hello, I'm Krishnan. Sorry, where are you from originally?
Well, my parents live in Calcutta. I was born there, but I've moved around a lot.
You are from Calcutta? No, that's amazing. My parents are from India. In fact, they are there now visiting relatives.
What a coincidence! Where do they come from?
From Bhiwandi, near Mumbai.
Bhiwandi. Isn't it famous for its textile industry?
That's right, yes. So, have you spent much time in India recently?
Okay. So that's our conversation number 3. Now, what two phrases show that the speakers are interested in their conversation?
He say he come from Catalia.
Okay, so they actually talk about being from the same country, okay, which is India, right? So what are the two key phrases that made them interested with the topic? Okay, one said the phrase, "That's amazing." Okay, oops. Okay, so when someone asks, where are you from? And then when he learns about that the person, the woman is from India, okay, he made a comment like, that's amazing. And then the other phrase is, what a coincidence. Okay. So this means when you say, oh, what a coincidence, that means that you belong to the same country, that you belong to the same place, okay, that you have similarities, okay. And let's take a look at conversation number 4. What phrases do Adriana and Adam use to greet each other? And how does Adriana show that she is listening? Let's listen to conversation 4.
Conversation 4.
Good evening, Adriana. I thought I might see you. Back for another company event?
Oh, Adam, how lovely to see you here. I heard you weren't coming.
Really? Who told you?
I can't remember. But anyway, how are things?
Oh, Adriana, where should I begin? I injured my leg in January in a skiing accident. The doctor told me to take it easy, but how could I rest with my job? Then I got flu, but we were organizing a huge trade fair at the time, so I had to keep going.
Oh, dear.
Then I had problems at home with my daughter. She's 15, you know.
Oh, I'm
and
so sorry to hear that. Look, I have to go, Adam. Catch you later.
Okay, so that's our conversation number 4. Now, what phrases, okay, or how did Adriana and Adam greet each other?
The doctor.
Mhm. Did they talk? Did they greet each other in a positive way?
They need see doctor.
Okay, so Adam shared about the negative things that happened to him, right? And the phrases or the way that they greet each other is not a usual way that we greet someone, because they actually started the conversation in a negative way. Okay, when Adam said that he didn't expect Adriana to be in that same event. Okay, so we can only say that way if we know the person, and if you already have a negative, idea about the person. Okay, so that is another way of greeting someone. And how does Adriana show that she is listening?
She said, oh, and I'm sorry to hear that.
Okay, correct. So he said, "Oh dear." And then in the latter part of the conversation, she said, "I'm sorry to hear that." Okay. Okay, so it means that she was able to actually hear what Adam is sharing. Okay, so thank you for listening to our 4 conversations and for answering our questions. Now we move on to the next part of our activity. So, of course, starting a conversation can be a challenge. Okay, and it's hard to establish connection the first time you meet someone. So let us practice starting
2.2.
a conversation. Okay, I want you to choose any of these topics and talk about it for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, what are some things that you want to share to someone if you will be meeting a person for a first time? Okay, so again, the challenge here is for you to talk for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, and you may choose one topic from the list. Okay, who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Okay, go ahead, Miss Tram.
I will talk about my hobbies. Mm, my hobbies are listening to the music, reading book, and traveling with my family or my friend. For me, I think listening to music or my favorite podcast it can help me reduce stress and improve my knowledge because some the podcast can give me can educate me a lot of knowledge about economic social skill which I can which I can use in my job or my life. And reading book help me enhance my knowledge that can a good bridge uh, to connect me with the other or even a foreigner. Beside a lot of quality book written by written a lot of quality a lot of quality quality
Đi chơi thôi.
hả?
Đi
Tức là
chơi.
kiến thức okay. A lot of famous
Knowledge.
không through reading book I can observe a lot of information from famous people that I have never met in real life. Cô đâu rồi?
Có mà.
Okay.
Is
And
that
yes,
how about traveling?
yes, for traveling can help me gain a lot of life experience. It not or it's not good for me, but also helpful for my whole family. And through traveling, I can also meet a lot of meet a lot of new person who will be a friend in the future, and it also help me broaden my connection with others. I think that all.
That's all. All right. Thank you, Miss Tram. And for your sharing, you spoke for 3 minutes and 14. Okay, that's great. The longer, the better. Okay, because it means that you are passionate with the topic that you are sharing about. Now, in your sharing, Miss Tram, I like the fact that you started your sharing by listing, okay, the different hobbies that you do, like listening to music, reading books, and traveling with your family. And then you follow it through with your reasons of doing it, how it helps you to improve your personality, and how it can be applied in your life. Okay. So it's a good way to expand your answer. Now, to make it even more specific in your sharing, you can also add, like, for example, what kind of music do you enjoy listening? Because it would also spark interest with the person you are talking to. So, for example, I like listening to pop. And then you can also share, have you heard about the new music of this group? Okay, they actually release a new song. So just to keep the conversation going. Same goes with the reading books. You can share about some titles, some authors of the book that you have recently read, okay, or talk about a book that you really like. Okay, since you mentioned about reading books. And then for traveling, okay, it's a good way to, explain that it helps you and your family. And it's also better if you can discuss or talk about a place that you have recently visited. Okay, or talk about the place that you want to visit in the future. Okay, so that way it could spark more interest, more attention when it comes to sharing things like this. Okay, so you don't just talk about your hobbies, but you talk about education, you talk about tourism, you can actually ask for different follow-up questions with your sharing. Okay, so thank you, Miss Tram, for your answer, for your sharing about your hobbies, and well done. Now let's have Miss Rose.
Yeah. I choose TV or cinema topic. And I think that film industry is development more in recent year. In Vietnam, we have a lot of other kind of film in cinema or TV. I think that uh, film industry give everybody spiritual medicine.
Mhm.
Beside every film have education the kids about humanity or everything in the life. In the recent year in Vietnam, we have a lot of popular film in cinema, special in 2025 we have a film about war movie. It is special film talk to about history of Vietnam and in the world, and we have a lot of people every year, younger and older, all see the film. And I think in the future time, we need the develop film movie and cung cấp là gì nhỉ? And develop more and provide topic about movies. Sometime develop film industry, we have developed more department, other department with develop together film industry such as food and survive to develop together film industry, and sometimes I think policy needs more of law about film industry to create a lot of film. A lot of film is good for everybody with the adjective topic and not ảnh hưởng là gì nhỉ? And not afraid with afraid with the kids. Is that all?
Is that all? All
Yeah.
right. Okay, so Miss Rose, you spoke for 3 minutes and 41. Yeah, very good. Okay, now let's take a look at your sharing, Miss Rose. So based on your sharing, you chose the topic TV and cinema, and this is actually you picked, or the flow of your discussion is at the middle of something that is also very controversial, because you also made mention about policy when it comes to the selection of topics in the different film industries. So you don't just talk about the movie that you like, but you also talk about the film industry as a whole. And in this topic, you made mention about the films in Vietnam. You also talk about one very good movie, like in the last year, that was a war movie, and it talks about the history of your country, and everyone sees the film. So that means that it can be watched not only by adults but also by children. So it's a good film that everybody can watch. And you also would want to for the filmmakers to actually develop films that are highly educational, and talks about life. Okay, so in your sharing, Miss Rose, you can also well, this is already a good sharing about cinema, because there are a lot of follow-up questions that can be given to you, and it could also spark some conversation, some debates about the things about the film industry. Okay, so you can also make mention here. You can begin your sharing by having a lighter topic, like for example, how often do you watch TV, or how often do you go to the cinema, and then what genre of films do you enjoy? Like for example, do you enjoy historical movies? Do you enjoy romance? Do you enjoy what else? Do you enjoy horror? Okay, so you can start your conversation by something light, because the way you begin your conversation is already a heavy topic. So sometimes if you are meeting someone for the first time and then you immediately talk about the film industry, so sometimes the person would find that the conversation is highly intellectual. So you can begin with an easy conversation first, like, do you watch romantic films or do you enjoy horror films? Okay, so things like that. So from a lighter note to a much more deeper sense of conversation about film industry. Okay, so it would make your conversation longer, and at the same time, it would spark interest about, watching films like the ones that you shared. Okay,
Yeah,
so
thank you.
okay, so thank you and very good for choosing the topics that interest you the most, because that's the key. In order for you to start a conversation, you have to choose a topic that you are passionate about. Okay, so for example, if you are passionate about hobbies, then start having that kind of conversation, because that is the thing that you can show your passion. And that's the thing about having good impression when it comes to starting conversation with someone. Okay, so now that you have some tips on how to start a conversation, the next thing is on how you actually end a conversation. So sometimes it's awkward to leave a conversation if you are the ones who started it. Okay. So how are we going to end a conversation in a polite way? Okay. So let's take a look at this activity. Okay. When you end and leave a conversation, always remember that it is polite to give reason and to promise for future contact. So always keep this in mind, that this is a polite way. So don't just say, okay, I need to leave now, bye. So you have to give a reason or to promise future contact. Now let's take a look at the following. Let us match the following to the correct reason given. Okay, on the second column. Let's say, for example, in the first column, okay, it says there, is that time? So how would you end that conversation? Okay, so for example, there is already a time limit. And normally, in the other countries, there is time limit for parking. So let me show you the connection. Okay, so you can begin, let's say you are having conversation, and then you need to end it. So you can say, oh, is that time? Or is it time already? Okay, so that signals that you need to go or that you need to leave. Okay, so for example, let's read Miss Rose.
Yeah. 1
Is that the time?
p. Yeah.
Okay, can you please read the next part of the statement? My
parking ticket ran out in 5 minutes. Can we continue talking
later. Okay, so
Yes.
this is now the reason. Okay, you have the reason and you have the promise, okay, to
Yeah.
future contact. Okay, so for example, you need to leave. Oh, is it time already? Then my parking lot, okay, my parking ticket runs out in 5, and then continue to talk later. Okay, how about this one, number 2? Okay,
I think it's A.
Okay, so sorry, but I promise to meet someone. Is it A, but it ends at 5? Okay, well, when you have promised someone, so you can say, it's not letter A because there's nothing to talk about time. So you can say
E.
letter E.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can say, sorry, but I promised to meet someone, but I'll come back when I've seen them. Catch you later. So you have here the statement that you need to end the conversation, the reason why you need to leave, and this is the promise. Okay, that you will come back and catch with them later. How about for number 3?
C.
Okay, for number 3, correct. So I'm going to get some food. It's letter C. Okay, so it says here, I missed lunch because of a conference call. See you later. So it means that you need to go, and this is your reason. I missed lunch. And then see you later is your promise. How about number 4, Miss Rose?
D.
Okay, number 4 is letter D. Is that James over there? Okay, so I say, excuse me, I really must go and speak to him. Okay, so this is an effective way, okay, to end a conversation. And you can only do this if there is someone that you know around. Okay, and then we also have number 5. Look, I have a meeting now. Okay, so the proper way to end it is by saying this one. Okay, but it ends at 5, so perhaps we can continue our conversation then. Okay, so these are some examples of polite way to end a conversation. Now, if you don't want to promise future contact, then just make sure to leave in a polite way. So you can say, look, I have a meeting now. I really have to go. Okay, so that's just it. Okay, you have the reason for leaving. Okay, but if you want to still talk to the person, then you can add the promise of future contact. Okay, so you can omit the promise, but if you really want to establish connection with the person, then you can continue and say this. Okay, so those are the different ways on how we can end our conversation. And on our next meeting, Miss Tram and Miss Rose, I will give you some tips on how to politely end a conversation aside from the ones listed in this part of our lesson. Okay, so that will be all for our session today. Do you have any question, Miss Tram and Miss Rose?
I have no question. Miss Trump have problem, and I see absent.
Oh, I see. All right. So that will be all for today. Thank you so much for coming to our class, and see you again next Saturday. Goodbye, Miss
Yeah,
Tram and
thank
Miss
you,
Rose.
teacher. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.